All right, all right, all right. It says we're live. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Take a moment to settle in and relax. You might want to take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and command yourself to relax. Good magic, Wayfarer. Good looking out. Appreciate you being here, each and every one of you. Greetings and salutations, blessings to all. This is Frank Monday, your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, coming at you on a Sunday, June 15th. 9:19 a.m. here in the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking. I hope you are doing well, Wayfarer, Wanderer, Wildcat alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Greetings. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the button, do the thing, hit the button, do the thing, like and subscribe. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. If you've got a minute, why don't you wander over to buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday, put a little something, something in the tip jar. That'll put the lead in my pencil, the pep in my step. And when I'm feeling good, you'll be feeling good. Riding the tiger. Riding the lion, riding the tiger, riding the dragon, which is it? It's one of those, riding the great wake of universal creation. Back towards source energy, man. That's what we're doing here. All things paranormal, esoteric, spiritual. The light of the divine. Let's get busy with it, man. Let's get jiggy with it. Y'all good looking sexy people. Let's go ahead and start off with prayers today. Since it's a Sunday, and though I pray every day, you might like to join me in prayer. If you know it, say it with me. Ibe, E-R, E-R. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Good magic. Yeah, so Wayfarer, if you haven't already, please consider a one-time coffee donation at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Join the Lunar Light Entertainment Discord so you can get more behind-the-scenes conversations and other fun stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check back often for updates and live streams. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Come back and pay me a visit whenever you have time. All right, today I wanted to start off with something a little different and launch immediately into the concise, easy to read definition of magic, occult, and the esoteric by the Specularium, which seems to be a website created by, or at least inspired by, Peter J. Carroll. Let's see what he's got. He's got chaos magic in a nutshell. In chaos magic, we treat belief as a tool of magic rather than an end in itself. Right? A means to an end, not an end of itself. This was published back on the 2nd of July, 2014, so quite a while ago. 11 years now. Almost one complete zodiacal circuit, right, which would be 12 years. Hassan Isaba says, nothing is true, everything is permitted. Attributed to the old man of the mountains, they say. Psychological principle says that thoughts are not facts. Belief attracts confirmation. That's a cognitive behavioral therapy and positive thinking. Thoughts are not facts. Belief attracts confirmation. Interesting. Kind of a deep statement. A little bit, maybe a little beyond to me. A little hard to penetrate into that one. I have to wrap my head around that for a bit. Thoughts are not facts. Fair enough. Facts are not facts, really. Thoughts are not facts. Yeah, I guess facts could be tangibly provable to an extent, at least subjectively. Objectively, we have no reference because we're not outside ourselves, are we? We're inside ourselves. Belief attracts confirmation. That's kind of some Dr. Bob thinking there, right? The reticular activating system. And when you buy a blue beetle, you start to see blue beetles everywhere. We'll move on. Chaos magic. Nothing has ultimate truth. Anything remains possible. New tarp. I wonder what new tarp means. It sounds like gibberish, but it's probably an acronym. We prefer the precision of V prime language and thought. After all, nothing really is anything else. Yeah, I use this a lot. And I guess I got this from Chaos Magic, but I started doing this before I even knew about Chaos Magic or had even read a dissertation on is. Because every time I heard someone say something is something else, I'm like, is it? Doesn't really, not right. Seems like, appears as if, is related to, is similar to, might be modeled by, right? I knew that there was something wrong with the is language. So yeah, V prime. I started speaking V prime at a young age. Didn't even know it was called that. Just great minds think alike, right? Of course, in a probability-based universe such as this, yeah, are we in a probability-based universe? I guess you could argue that. All right, some things remain possible, some things remain more possible than others. Yeah, definitely, right? Like it's more likely the sun will rise today than you'll become a millionaire overnight. Fortunately, we can precisely calculate how much probability distortion a given act of magic will produce using the following equation of magic. And I think that it's a little bit outdated to spell magic just with a C when you're speaking specifically about all forms of, like, I would say chaos magic, ceremonial magic, intentional magic, manifestation magic, witchcraft, sorcery, any type of necromancy, any of the categories of magical operations. I would say that it's more appropriate to use a K, and then magic with just a C should be used exclusively in the literary sense of like the sublime, and then in this like stage magic and sleight of hand magic, right? Those are very separate categories, so I think you need to distinguish early on the difference between those two. Yeah. So he gives you a basic equation. PM equals P plus 1 minus P times M to the 1 into P. Interesting. Yeah, my algebra is pretty outdated, so this just looks like Greek to me. That's a spell and that's an anti-spell. I guess he'll give us the breakdown though. So in this equation where PM means the probability of accomplishing something with magic and P equals the probability of the event's natural occurrence. Okay, PM is the probability of accomplishing it with magic, and P isolated is the probability of the event's natural occurrence, and then M is the amount of magic applied to the situation. Okay, that makes sense. I can follow so far. My algebra ain't that bad that I can't read some basic explanations. Good magic. Good magic. I can appreciate this. Spell refer... Where's spell? I don't see spell in here. Okay, spell refers to enchantment to encourage something to happen. And anti-spell... Okay, I see it there at the bottom. Now I see it. Spell and anti-spell. Anti-spell refers to the enchantment to prevent something from occurring. In divination, P simply represents the probability of guessing the right answer by chance alone, or guessing the answer by chance alone. Okay, good magic. I can keep up. The equations of magic give rise to three-dimensional graphs, the first of which, traditionally known as the tripod of stochastics, shows that even an event with zero probability of natural occurrence can occur under the influence of sufficient magic. Let me try to reread that. The equations of magic give rise to 3D graphs, the first of which is so on, and it shows even an event with zero probability of natural occurrence can occur under the influence of sufficient magic. Okay, yeah, good magic. I can appreciate it. See, there's a nice visual chart there. All right, the three pillars of Freemasonry. Old school Pythagorean magic. I think those three pillars should be different though, right? One is Doric. I forget the other two. Ionic, Doric, and there's a third one. Let me see if I can remember it from my 6th grade architecture class. Ionic, Doric, and can't remember it. That's okay. It'll come to me later if it's important enough. Corinthian. There it is there. Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian. It came to me. Good magic. All right. Unfortunately, the ingredients of M do not equate to easily measurable phenomena. Yeah, that makes sense, right? That's why Robert Anton Wilson, Dr. Bob, he taught that original idea of like a multi-model approach to causation. Like you should never become overly fixated on what actually was the catalyst or causation, right? You should be engaged in the process of magic and then tracking your results and getting your end results, your fruition of activities, and being diligent in your scientific method. But don't worry so much about the how, and don't worry so much about like what brought about that, right? You could just know that, that's where faith comes in, right? Know that your magic played some part in it, no matter how measurable that is, right? Because it's unfortunately the ingredients of magic do not equate to easily measurable phenomena, but we can delineate them. The same thing could be said true of God, right? God does not equate to easily measurable phenomena, unless you just take that reductivist approach and say that everything is God and God is everything, which is one type of framing, but it still doesn't hit bullseye, right? And we like to hit the bullseye every time here at the Frank Monday channel, right? And we are streaming from StreamYard today, right? Which is good magic, definitely. We got all the banners in the background. We can just click on any one we like, right? A little shout out to Frater Sal Smith, Adeptus Exemptus of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Haven't seen you in a long time, beloved. Hope you are doing well. It's nearing the end of the 100-day challenge. I hope you participated and learned some good magic from it. For me, it's day 91, so I'm on the last 10-day. And unless you know, then you don't know, right? Always reminding folks to hit the like button for those old algabots over at YouTube, right? The boob tube. It'll keep them barking. Yeah, maybe not. Doesn't seem to work much, but yeah, hopefully as time plays out, we may get a little closer to the truth. And I remind you, Wayfarer, if you haven't already, take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and command yourself to relax. One beautiful way you might relax is by going over to buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday and putting a little something in the tip jar. Because putting jelly in Frank's donut is definitely going to put the pep in your step and the lead in your pencil, because you're going to know that Frank Monday appreciates it, right? A gift from the heart is something he definitely appreciates from any lovely, wonderful Wayfarer out there in Happy Land. So get good magic done today. You know, be the catalyst for change, right? A little something in the tip jar. Ain't gonna hurt anybody. $50 never killed anybody, right? $50 never killed anyone. It's a grant. You go with a Benjamin if you like too. $100 never killed anybody. $100 never killed anybody. All right. Don't think money. Think happy. Think about good magic. All right. That's the way to get it done right there, baby. Just making the channel updates. Let's get back into it. Let's get back over here into the specularium. Yeah, so we left off thinking about how God is not an easily measurable or definable thing either. In fact, many of the great mystery traditions would teach us that it's undefinable, unknowable, unintelligible, non-tangible, ephemeral, all right, beyond time and space, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Yeah. So with all that set up as a foundation, which is just distracting you from the light of truth anyway, then let's get into it. Let's get into magic. Magic is GLSB, where G equals gnosis, right? In direct knowing, when you grok something, when it just intrinsically rises out of the unknown sphere of the Godhead, the unconscious state, drips up back from your subconscious state and into your conscious awareness. Almost a reverse osmosis, yeah? A steaming, a gassing, yeah, gnosis, generative, godlike energy, the creative, the green, yeah, the green force, the big G in the free Masonic equation. Yeah, so we could say that Masonry equals the generative force. Let's get into the L. Two particular altered states of consciousness. L means the magical link. So that, yeah, wow, with this first statement, we can see that he's spelling out Jehovah, the name of God, the Yahweh, right? With the G being the Yud, the plasma charge, and then the L being the vowel, maybe, the connective force. And then S means subliminalization of intent. Yeah, that's good magic right there. Just that simple statement. What a powerful thing. What a treat to be able to read this with you today, Wayfarer. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission, you might want to click the like button for old Frank Monday, because you know he's hard at the fucking grindstone. And without any likes, there's no jelly in the donut. That's no kind of fun. Sitting here on the internet talking to oneself is a bit like it's a bit like mental masturbation, right? There's no feedback loop. There's no one challenging the ideas. There's no one chiming in support. There's only me and the microphone. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's figure out this last part of the equation. And B means belief. So let's reverse engineer this before we even go forward. All right? I'll do it with you, Wayfarer, because I know you're waiting for Frank Monday's commentary on these ideas of the specularium. All right? P.J. Carroll's School of Wizardry, including a homepage, a blog news, and our Arcanorium College. Games, three-dimensional time, hyposphere cosmology. Wizardry is the section we're looking at, guys. So if you want to get over there to the specularium.org, pardon me, click on the Wizardry section so you can follow along. And don't forget to hit that like button, guys, and leave a comment later on the video, please. I feel like I'm begging you, but I mean, we got to do something to up the ante here at the old Frank Monday channel. Yeah, you got to do your part, Wayfarer, adept, aspirant, initiate, neophyte. You got to get involved with the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Eastern Star Division, broadcasting to you from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking. My wife sometimes laughs at me. She's like, "What are you doing there on the internet?" You know, it's such a futile endeavor. And I'm like, well, it's a social outlet. You know, it's something fun that I enjoy doing. I think of myself as an FM radio midnight jockey, you know, hanging out in some distant frontier town on a mountain with like some sort of generator, I guess, and a huge like 50,000 watt tower, and broadcasting to the lonely spirits, doing like midnight trucking, driving along the highway, or people up at odd hours wanting to tune into the radio, kind of an Art Bell-esque type person, waiting for someone to call in and tell me a titillating, stimulating, interesting story of the paranormal. That's really what I love, man. And if you've got one, why don't you get with it and dial in this evening and let me know all about it. Let me know your story. If you don't have time to catch this live, you can do it later by leaving it as a comment down in the comment section under the video. Get involved. Make yourself known. Stand up and be counted. You know what I'm saying? Another way to do that is to sign up for the mailing list at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. That's really good magic if you get involved that way. That'll really put the lead in your pencil. And nobody can slight you for that, dear Wayfarer. Nobody at all. Yeah, so we're breaking down this basic equation at the Specularium on Wizardry. Chaos magic in a nutshell. We've got that algebraic equation. We've got the tripod of stochasticos. And now we're looking at the M equals GLSB. And we're going to re-engineer it from the ground up. He says that B means belief. So first and foremost, you need to be malleable in your reality tunnels. How easily can you shift from one reality tunnel to another? And do you get stuck in certain reality tunnels and think that one culture is better than another culture, or one belief system is better than another belief system? You might feel that way, Wayfarer, sometimes when you're down on your knees and you're you're in a hard spot, maybe going through the dark night of the soul, and you're crying out to Jesus Cristo and Mary Magdalene, or maybe you're crying out to the great Father Dagon and the Mother Hydra, Astaroth, and you just wish that the stars would align and Cthulhu would rise again like Finnegan, right? Maybe you've got a yen to expand your kin, and you're ready to get zen with Frank Monday, right? So don't become too stuck in any given way of looking at the world. Don't be too fucking wishy-washy either, though. You need to set some parameters in place. And that's what we do here at the Frank Monday channel. We set forward paranormal parameters and ways to get it done. All right, take a deep breath again with me, Wayfarer, if you would. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good God, just relax. Let go of any tension, anxiety, worry, vexation, anything bothering you, the malignant, malicious, malodorous miasma of infinite human opinion. Maybe you're bearing the scars of something someone said to you, Maybe you were, trying to get your live stream on, and somebody came in the comment section and they said, "Good God, you look like a 12-year-old boy that was dressed up as a girl by his older sisters," right? And that hurt your feelings, and you're in your feelers. Yeah? Well, don't stay in your feelers forever. Let it shift like water off a duck's back, and just get busy with getting busy, right? Because the busier you are, I wouldn't say busy, not busy-minded anyway, but I've always known since a young age that the more you do, the more you can do. So get busy doing, right? Like the Taoists say, engage in non-doing. Way woo way. It seems like a paradox until you realize that as long as you're doing what you should be doing, which is the second part of that equation in the Tao Te Ching, living up to your virtue, then you're not interfering with anyone else, right? You're just growing your own root, and nobody can slight you for that. The next part of this equation, in having a malleable belief system, is sublimization of intent, right? And that's what our belief system essentially is. It's the sublimation of intention. You've intended and thought and believed these things for so long that you've put them at a deeper, subconscious, intrinsic, dare I say, even unconscious level that can touch the area of no control. It can touch straight through to the Godhead, which is the L part of this, right? That magical link between your area of direct control and your area of no control. And you connect that linkage is the area of influence. Yeah. So you've got the present moment, the only area of direct control you have, which are your thoughts, words, and actions. And then you've got the past and future oscillating around you as area of influence. And then the most extreme extent, the greatest distant future and greatest distant past as areas of no control. Yeah. The unconscious, the Godhead to you, unconscious to you. And then gnosis is a direct connection, the energy flowing from in both directions, from the greatest exterior of that link, the most distant past and the most distant future, and then back straight into the immediate present. Two particular altered states he calls them, hypnagogic and hypnopompic. Right. So I think this gives you greater elucidation on this equation of M equals GLSB. What a wonderful thing. What a treat. Thank you, Peter, Master Magician, Peter J. Carroll of Chaos Magic, for bringing this forward in such a complete and concise way. All right. What a wonderful thing. Really. You guys ought to go over and sub his webpage or whatever and hit the likes over there. I don't know how it works with webpages, .orgs anymore. I haven't interacted with an ordinary, 1990s style internet in a long time, but I'm doing it right now just for you. I'm getting in the dirt, down in the dungeon of the internet to bring forward some gems of true spiritual gold. Good magic, guys. Okay, so he says to achieve maximization. Oh, maybe I should show you guys what I'm looking at, right? I told you where to find it, but I'll go ahead and bring it back up on screen for those of you that like the visual stimulation, because some of you are old school radio listeners, right? You don't even look at the screen. But here it is here. If you are looking at the screen, I'm reading once again from the specularium.org, the section on wizardry by Master Magician of Chaos Magic, Peter J. Carroll. He goes on to say, to achieve maximization of all of these factors, the magician may, in practice, need wands, robes, accoutrements, essentially, right? Visualizations, symbolic systems, sigils, barbaric languages, rituals, and other means of egress from normal states of mind. Even though, in theory, a supreme exponent of magic could achieve it all whilst sitting quietly in a chair, rather like a mathematician working without pencil or paper, waste paper basket, blackboard, geometry instruments, books of reference, or a computer. So there you have it there, man. That single statement. I'm going to go ahead and drop the visualizations, guys, because I find them a little bit distracting myself when I'm doing a radio transmission, and I want to connect directly with you, dear listener, because I know you're concerned with the future, and I know you're concerned with paranormal things and a spiritual reality. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? And I want to connect directly with you, dear listener, through the power of the word, right? Because the word is sometimes more powerful than visual imagery. It's what, as we get a little older in our wisdom, we rely more and more on paying careful attention to the articulation and enunciation of a speaker or an orator on certain ideas, because we know if we can detect real easily with just a half a century of life experience of whether or not they're being sincere and genuine, and whether or not they're telling us, something that's worth listening to, or whether they're just full of shit and just spinning their wheels. And I like to think that we don't spin our wheels here at the Frank Monday channel. We get into the good stuff, right? Good magic. To achieve maximization of all these factors, the magician may in practice need the accoutrements. And the ones he mentions are really important, right? Like, don't overlook all of the different accoutrements that he mentioned. He's very concise and deliberate in the items that he brings forward for both halves of the brain, right? The magician or artiste on one side, the artistic creative function of the mind, and on the other side he puts forward a mathematician, I would say engineer, the analytical, logical, reasoning side of the mind, right? And so the taiji of the mind, the yin-yang symbol of the mind working in harmony. And so for the artist, the magician, he says a magician, an artist magician, and a magician is both an artist and an engineer, may in practice need the wands, robes, and visualizations. Let's start with those three first. So, have you created a magical wand, or if you're a masculine magician, and I dare I even say a feminine magician, right? You will definitely have a magic wand, and you know what the most powerful magic wand is. It occupies much of your adolescence, and well into your later years, you're still going to be firing up that most divine masculine magic wand that the magician possesses. Hey, free gift from God's out here in the Ideas Land. Free gift from God. We're checking out Peter J. Carroll, which is actually a magician and wizard that you turned me on to, that I'd never even heard about. And I think it was less than half a decade ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when you first sent me Liber. What is it? Liber Null? I think that's what it's called. The book Cybernauts. Is it Cybernauts or Psychonauts? Cybernauts, I think. And Good Magic by Peter J. Yeah, so I'm reviewing his website right now, just his concise definition of magic. So good stuff, good magic. You can check it out yourself as well, free gift from God, if you wander over to his webpage, specularium.org, and get into it, man, because it's good magic. I've been holding on to a J.P. Farrell, another magic wand, as it were, right? Let's see which ones he highlights. He says that a magician may, in fact, need wands and robes, right? And so why does the wand and the robe help? Because it egresses you from a normal state of mind. When you pick up your wand and throw on your robe, right, you put yourself into an altered state of mind. You're no longer in your underwear. You're no longer in your business clothes. You're no longer in your street clothes. You're no longer in your corporate uniform or your military uniform. You're in the robes of a magician and holding a magical implement that directs your intention, right? It directs the wizard's intention, the magical will. Then there are going to be symbolic systems such as the Kabbalah, right? The Hermetic Tree of Life. Which now, thanks to Master Magician, Grandmaster Magician Poke Runyon, we call the Kabbalah of Wizardry. Yeah. So we're not dealing with Judaistic systems or Judaism or Jewish UEUs. We're dealing with something that's been adopted as a legitimate symbolic system that works. So when you hear a magician talking about the Kabbalah, know that it's a very different thing from just your standardized Judaistic tool of thought, right? Then we've got sigils, all different kinds of sigils. Good God, there's so many different ways to make sigils and talismans and lamens and all different types of signs and symbols, right? So your symbolic systems are the foundation of your sigilling, your sigil magic. Then we've got barbarous tongues, right? Like Wayfarer, I don't know if you know this or not, but I speak quite a few barbarous tongues. I'm well versed in Latin and some Greek, not very much though, to be honest. I should bone up on my Greek this year. But German, that's a barbarous tongue, right? Spanish, quite barbarous, connects directly with Latin. And of course, my favorite and my most fluent second language is Chinese. And I don't know if you've ever studied a little bit of Chinese, Wayfarer, but it's got some big magic in it, man. You might want to check it out. Barbarous tongues. And then rituals. You know, how many rituals are you practicing? Do you do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram? Do you do Qigong and Kung Fu? Those are all forms of ritual work, right? Kung Fu, like form practice in karate or any style of movement art, is a ritualistic practice of engaging in combat, with its ultimate end result being that you will be versed enough in certain movements that simply your understanding of those mechanics will overcome someone who's not, someone who hasn't done the practice. And so how different is ceremonial magic, right? You're doing your kung fu in magic in order to be versed enough in various manifestations of symbols within your astral egg, right? Your energy egg, your aura, that this stuff is written there and you can access it at any time, that you're in an egg of energy. And when you're in an altered state of mind, whether that be hypnagogic or hypopompic or some other trance state, that you'll immediately recognize and remember your sigil magic, and you'll be able to call upon that for great power and insight, right? It's boiling down of all types of past and future threads into the single present moment. And on an analog system, you need that single sigil that points at so many powerful energies around it, right? It's like a node in the brain, right? A synapse. A node, yeah, not a synapse. I need to restudy my mind sciences. I did a lot of study into that maybe 20 years ago, but I haven't looked as much into it recently. Even because I don't need to, I guess, I did all that work. That's why the great work is stuff you don't have to always necessarily look back at what you've already studied, right? It's just assumed that you know it. Even though in theory, a supreme exponent of magic could achieve it all whilst sitting quietly in a chair, which is what I'm doing now, but I am not sitting quietly. I have broken my vow of silence once again, like Finnegan, in order to transmit to those of you who have a yin methods and operations to expand your kin. And I like to do it in the sense of us getting zen, baby. Let's get jiggy. Take off your robe, right? And dance sky-clad under the full moon in the woods. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't get hurt. Don't catch a cold. All right, let's get into some more of this. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next section. But until we do, let me go ahead and share and check the chat room, interact with the chat room a little bit. We got Frank Monday in the ideas room saying, greetings and blessings, Wayfarer. Greetings and blessings to you, Frank Monday, out in Happy Land. I hope you were doing well. Have you taken the opportunity to hit the like button and go over to buymeacoffee.com and put a little something in the tip jar? Frank Monday goes on to say, good magic to you, sir. To you, sir, my past self. The Frank Monday that was at 9:12 a.m., which is 9:55 a.m. now, guys. That Frank Monday was 33 minutes ago. Good magic, Frank Monday. 33 minutes, huh? Isn't that an interesting thing that the Los Angeles riots are occurring exactly 33 years after the 1992 riots? Wonder if there's any coincidence there for our Masonic brothers. Shout out to you guys in Happy Land. All my FM brothers and sisters, Frater at Soros. Oh, take a moment to throw your head back and throw your arms into the sky. And with your left hand, reach out and say, hail unto thee, the Father Dagon, impetus and catalyst of light and life. Throw up your right hand and stretch. Hail unto thee, who art the Mother Hydra, Astaroth, right? Creative, receptive force of the universe. Putting all things in shells and clothes, right? Bringing us into being. And then put your hands together and say with great passion, the stars align. And throw both of your hands upside down with your fingers wriggling in front of your mouth and say, Cthulhu has risen. Yeah, that's good magic right there. That's one of the powerful incantations that the Grand Master of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Eastern Star Division, Frank Monday, has created as a salutation to the Supernal Triad. Really beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Yeah, that's the salute of the Esoteric Order of Dagon right there, man. Good fucking magic, baby. I need to write that down and then put it into like a PDF and make it available on the internet so people don't forget that that's where it came from. Frank Monday created that fourfold tetragrammaton expression. All hail the Father Dagon. All hail the Mother Hydra. The stars have aligned. Cthulhu is arisen. Oftoggle-noggle. Really a Cthulhu. Oftoggle-noggle. Yeah, good magic, Wayfarer. Maybe you'd like to take a trip to Innsmouth and visit me there in the old Tennessee Valley, right? We could set up a pagoda, a Tower of Babel, right? Something to the stars. All right, magicians, let's get into it. We've got a couple more paragraphs here. Let me check. I'll do the word count for you. So I think we're only going to be able to go about another 20 minutes. It sounds like people are getting up and moving about here in Happy Land. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only like 6 paragraphs left, man. Good magic. That won't take long. What a treat. What a treat to be able to be with you here today for a little while. And it always is just a little while, Wayfarer, because there are so many tasks to do day to day. Like here it is Sunday. one of my only days of rest, and I'm using that time to interact with you, Wayfarer, out in Happy Land, on the internet, here on the boob tube. Yeah. And all I'm asking, Wayfarer, beloved neophyte, aspirant, is that you hit the like button, right? Is that so difficult? Poke at it, tickle it, share this video out with someone that might need it, that needs the guiding Aladdin's lamp back to the truth, out of the dusty, perverse, and challenging world of serpents and demons that are coiling about them. Yeah, you might offer this to a friend or a family member and say, hey, there is salvation, there is succor, and there is a realm of sanctuary. You can find it on the Frank Monday channel from time to time when he opens up his panel to everyone, to the world. Just open the door and let anybody step up and say hello. And there can be great healing in that. In fact, I think it's the highest form of healing, fellowship and communion with people of a like mind that are also struggling to achieve spiritual enlightenment. And maybe those of us, some more advanced on the way, that have already received quite a bit of spiritual enlightenment and are willing to share with you in a technique somewhat analogous to a mathematician, using the vast store of axioms, theorems, and conjectures developed by other mathematicians and suggested by nature. Magicians evoke and invoke various real and imaginary entities, archetypes, and egregores on the basis of experimental belief that the universe probably contains something somewhere that knows how to do anything or to confer any knowledge and ability to the magician might require. Yeah, that's it right there, man. I mean, how eloquent of a breaking down of the magical technique do you need, right? And he says this comes as extended commentary from Liber Chaos and the Octivo. And it looks like both of these might be free here on the internet. I don't know. I don't think so, though. Are you familiar with either of these texts? Free Gift from God, Neophyte Magician out there in Happy Land, if you're still with me. You did say hey earlier. It says that you said hey at 9:45, and it's now going on 20 minutes later. So yeah, it looks like our transmission might be getting weak, dear Wayfarer, and I might have to head off into the abodes of Happy Land. Until next time. But we'll try to finish this article, guys. I'll stay here long enough that if anybody wants to join the transmission and put a little more jelly in the donut, then I'll leave that opportunity available for the next how long? Let me see here. The next 20 minutes. 20 minutes, guys. I'm putting the link in the ideas room right now. And if you want to see this show continue beyond an hour, then make sure you click on the link and join me. Otherwise, it's off into the abodes of Happy Land for me. Okay, here we go. So, just what that something might consist of remains a subject of ongoing debate and metaphysical tastes. In some cultures, magicians have to appeal to their ancestors or the dead, right? So ancestral magic is animism, I believe, and dead magic, appealing to the dead, is necromancy. Or to the spirits of totemic animals. No, that's animism. I forget the ancestral magic, what you might call that. It probably has its own word, though. And then natural phenomena, right? So true natural magic. In others, they have to evoke entities from the pantheons of pagan gods or the saints and lesser spirits of monotheistic religions. Yeah, lesser spirits meaning not God himself, but his angels, right? Angels are supposedly put there at our disposal to aid and assist us, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere. These same angelic forces are also supposed to give us spiritual potencies and to aid us in our work. And they're also supposed to protect us from demoniacal influences, right? That's why we command into presence to evoke. Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. At my right hand, Mikael at my left hand. Uriel. For about me flame the pentagrams, and within shines a six-rayed star. So contemporary magicians prefer to experiment with the belief that their own subconscious either contains astonishing knowledge and or power that it can somehow tap into, things such as some sort of quantum non-local psychic network. This can include alien extraterrestrial intelligences as well. Very good, right? Look at that there. And I could elucidate this much further, because oftentimes people only set up the division of the conscious and subconscious when you have to take into consideration that we're also directly connected to, via the subconscious, the absolute unconscious, right? The darkest, deepest realms of Lovecraftian elder gods. That's there at the core level, man. And if you don't get what I'm talking about, then you need to get busy getting in touch with me and say, hey, Frank Monday, can you send me some of that those deep, dark, mystical secrets that you've discovered through your study of the Necronomicon, the Vermis Mysterious, right? And Von Junts. And yes, I can. But you got to reach out to me, Wayfarer. Otherwise, it just ain't going to happen. Either way, such spirit guides seem best interfaced by personifying them as animate entities, as our neuropsychology has largely evolved just for such forms of interaction. There you go, right? So even if it's not what it is necessarily, it doesn't matter. And that's why this is such a beautiful thing. It's better to interface with them that way. They're best interfaced with when you personify them as ancient Egyptian god forms, right? Or the pantheon of Greek gods, right? And then all of the correspondences that go with that, right? Or you may use the one god in the Trinity. But even if you're just utilizing the one god, which I know many of you do, it's a little bit weak to not go on to include the mother god as well, right? Like to just always be within the patriarchy of archaic religious confines and the doctrine and dogma of those outdated religions. I mean, come on, step into the present at least. I'm not asking you to go into the future with really powerful systems of chaos magic, but I am asking you at least to step out of the past. Occasionally. You don't have to, though. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not trying to convert anyone. That's not what magic and Tao is all about. It speaks for itself. I don't need to speak on its behalf. Who am I to presume upon intellectual brilliance enough to try to fucking tell you what Lao Tzu was talking about? Yeah. Anyway. Not that anybody will listen anyway. Either way, such spirit guides seem best interfaced by personifying them as... Oh, okay, we read that part. Let's get on to the next part. Work with these entities requires considerable skill and discrimination. I would disagree. I think you can work with them irregardless in that they're working with you, whether or not you believe in them, right? The old sage met a man who says, but I don't believe in God. And he said, that's fine and dandy. God doesn't believe in you either. Right. But the truth is that whether you believe in these powers or not, they take an interest in you, and you may be unwittingly used by them if you don't have some power to understand that interaction. As with people, some talk rubbish, behave unreliably, and have only menial abilities, whilst others display towering genius, have extraordinary abilities, and seem worth cultivating as lifelong friends and allies. Yeah, that's true magic right there, man. I have very few of these. There are some of you out there in Happy Land that have reached out to me recently that are definitely worth cultivating as lifelong friends and allies. Voy, Ricardo Sunshine, right? To mention a few. Free Gift from God, absolutely, definitively. Mary from Sea Level, Miss Mary Moon, right? Mary at Sea Level 1 and Mary at Sea Level 2. Creek Mary, Yeah, lots of different folks have come across my path here in recent times and in ancient times as well. Seems like I only ever have maybe one or two close friends. All right. And then when they die, it's hard to find another to replace them. Few friends, guys, few people to talk to about these ideas. That's okay, though. I'm going to get my good magic done irregardless. It's okay. Let's get on to the next part of this. When evaluating work with entities, the magician always needs to ask, do I get at least as much or more than I put into this relationship? That's what I ask with YouTube all the time, and it seldom has any ROI, right? It's like, good God, I've put in thousands of hours into YouTube, and I've received very little in response for that effort. I've been stuck at 800. Like, once I rose above 800 subs, YouTube knocked me down to 799 over and over again. My sub count kept rising up to 802, 805, 806, and then back down to 799, right? YouTube's like, no, we're just gonna, we don't care how many subs you get, Frank Monday. We're gonna keep you under the 800 threshold for a couple more months and let you stew on it. Now they finally let the tide rise just a little bit, and I think I got 802 right now. Yeah. What a joke. YouTube's such a joke. Probably another 100 people have signed up since then. I'm probably well over 1,000. But YouTube's never going to show me the genuine analytics because they don't have to. Right? It's their platform. It's their system. It's up to them. The only true analytics I can actually view are the ones on Buy Me a Coffee. Yeah. They show me how many people have subbed by way of an easy donation of $5. I believe that's what it is. $5 little dollars. All right, guys, we're running out of time for today's show, so let's go ahead and try to finish this off. We got about 5 minutes left, and then we're off into the abodes of Happy Land. When evaluating work with these entities, what's the ROI, right? Do I at least get as much or more than I put into this relationship? Do my evoked servitors actually distort probability in the required direction? Do my invoked gods and goddesses, daemons and demons actually inspire me to accomplish more than I could by ordinary means? Whilst the supreme exponent of magic could in principle invoke or evoke anything by pure will and imagination alone, many of us seem to end up with a temple full of tools such as circles, triangles, tomes of mythology, servitor ground sleeves, and images and sculptures of ancient, syncretic, and synthetic god forms and demon fetishes. For an extensive grimoire of invocation and evocation, consult the following link. And all esoteric phenomena, from gods to demons to spirits and spells, consist of relationships between self and reality. Fair enough, man. This is really good magic, guys. I hope you enjoyed this transmission today. Magic can consist of the use of imagery, imaginary phenomena to create genuine effects. There, he's giving you the final secret of the Illuminati for free. Thank you for that. What a thing. What a delight. What a treat, guys. And that's going to be all for today, man. I wish someone would have stopped by and continued the transmission a little longer into the future, but, you know, it is what it is. I will remind you to check me out at buymeacoffee.com, pull a something in the tip jar, hit the likes for the Algobots, and check in often, Wayfarer. You know, come back, see what's going on, maybe leave a comment on the video, and yeah, keep shaking your love maker out there in Happy Land, y'all good-looking sexy people. Until next time, this has been Frank Monday broadcasting to you from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon in Twilight Zone, Old Pete King, far behind the bamboo firewall, wishing you well, Wayfarer, and keep doing good magic at Astra per Asperum. Carpe Diem. Bye for now.